I found myself lurking in the shadows at the rear of the church, a silent witness to the unfolding drama within. All eyes were fixed on the scene unfolding before them, his co-workers, childhood friends, and even his mistress, boldly occupying the front row, a tableau of tension and unspoken truths. But what about me? His wife, a steadfast companion for 22 tumultuous years. Not a single seat was saved, and not even a fleeting glance was cast in my direction. In a moment that defied all reason, I plunged into the abyss of the unimaginable. With trembling hands, I plunged into the depths of my purse, extracting a crumpled piece of paper that held the weight of my fate. My heart raced as I strode purposefully toward the altar, each step echoing with the gravity of the moment. Time itself seemed to halt, as if the very air had thickened with tension. Eyes widened, breaths caught in throats, and the world around them fell into a haunting silence. Everyone froze, suspended in a moment that felt both eternal and excruciatingly fleeting. And then, with a voice trembling on the edge of revelation, I spoke. This is not merely the end of Mark's journey. It is the dramatic culmination of a life filled with secrets and untold stories. This is my farewell as well. And lo, I have brought forth a tome to peruse. With trembling hands, I tore open the paper, revealing its secrets hidden within, my final decree. For if they dared to lay him to rest without paying homage to my name, then I would ensure their own graves were dug deep and dark. In a world where reality shatters like glass, the truth stands alone, a solitary figure amidst the chaos, daring to reveal its haunting secrets. Before we plunge into the depths of this unfolding tale, I implore you, dear viewers, to reveal in the comments where in this vast world do you find yourself watching from. Do you dare to uncover the truth of my journey? How did I find myself at my husband's funeral, clutching a will that would unravel the very fabric of my existence? Allow me to transport you to a time long past. Behold, I am Olivia Kent, a name that echoes through the shadows of fate. It was at the age of 26 that fate intertwined my path with Mark's, a moment that would forever alter the course of my life. Emerging from the hallowed halls of academia, I found myself ensnared in a cramped apartment, sharing space with two strangers and a feline that had no claim to my heart. Mark strode into the room, a figure of undeniable allure, older, polished, and brimming with confidence. The very air shifted as he entered, wrapping around those present like a warm embrace, whispering promises that everything would be all right. And for a fleeting moment, it truly was. He whisked me away to rooftop dinners under the stars, each moment a breathtaking surprise, and swept me off to weekend getaways that felt like stolen dreams. He uttered words that hung in the air, electrifying the moment. You possess a mind I crave to have on my team for eternity. Not merely beautiful, not just hot, but undeniably smart. I was utterly captivated by that. 2 years later, we stood before the altar, hearts racing as the world around us faded into a blur. The moment was electric, charged with the weight of our promises and the thrill of the unknown. We were bound together, forever changed by the vows we exchanged in that sacred space. Whispers echoed through the air, declaring us flawless, a match made in the heavens. I was ensnared by their words, utterly convinced, heart racing with the weight of their deceit. But in the tumultuous depths of year 8, perhaps even 9, a seismic shift occurred. He embarked on a journey, venturing into the unknown with a fervour that ignited the very air around him. Silence enveloped me, a heavy cloak of stillness that I began to wear more often. Then emerged the deceit, insidious whispers cloaked in half-truths, like the meeting that stretched into eternity, or the phone that mysteriously succumbed to silence, or the text that vanished into the void, never to be seen again. And then, like a tempest, Jenna burst onto the scene. Jenna was his assistant, or perhaps his executive coordinator titles that barely scratched the surface of the tangled web of power and ambition that surrounded them. 25, a number that echoes with the weight of destiny, a threshold teetering on the edge of fate. What secrets lie within this age? This pivotal moment. The air crackles with tension, as if the universe itself holds its breath, waiting for the next move in this unfolding drama. locks cascading like a waterfall of silk, laughter ringing out like the most infectious punchline from a beloved sitcom. In the shadows of secrecy, she referred to him as M in the emails that were never meant for my eyes. It was a fateful moment, a twist of destiny. I stumbled upon the first message, completely by chance. In a moment of careless abandon, he left his iPad unlocked, the screen aglow with secrets, as he stepped into the cascading water of the shower, oblivious to the storm brewing just beyond the bathroom door. It declared, the dinner was nothing short of perfection. The memory of that kiss haunts me, an echo of passion that refuses to fade. In a moment thick with tension, I chose silence over confrontation. Not just yet. Instead, I plunged into the depths of documentation. I printed emails, captured screenshots, and enlisted the services of a discreet private investigator, one with a neck tattoo and a penchant for trouble. And there it was. A revelation that sent shivers down my spine. He was rewriting his will, with Jenna's name emblazoned upon it, a haunting reminder of my absence. In that moment, the silence shattered, and I emerged from the shadows, no longer the meek and subdued partner. The quiet wife was gone, replaced by a force ready to confront the storm. In a twist of fate, I emerged as the mastermind behind the chaos. In the unfolding months, I donned the mask of the perfect wife, the unwavering partner, flashing a smile at Gallus, gripping his hand tightly at charity events, all while the truth simmered beneath the surface. Yet, in the shadows of my solitude, I found myself crafting a new testament, not one bound by law, but a declaration of my very essence, a legacy waiting to be unveiled. In a bold move, I acquired a quaint piece of land nestled in the heart of Vermont, claiming it solely in my name. In a bold and heartfelt move, I launched a scholarship fund, forever etching my mother's name into the annals of generosity and hope. In the stillness of the moment, a silence so profound it could shatter the very fabric of reality. In a bold and daring move, I severed every connection to our shared accounts, plunging into the shadows to open a new one, hidden from his prying eyes. By the time illness struck him down, I had already severed the ties of my heart, vacating the very essence of our union. In the chilling month of September, the fateful diagnosis was delivered, shattering the calm and plunging him into a storm of uncertainty. In the shadows of despair, a formidable foe emerges: pancreatic cancer. A silent predator, lurking within, it strikes with ruthless precision, leaving chaos in its wake. The battle is fierce, the stakes are high, and the outcome remains uncertain. Hope flickers like a candle in the dark as warriors rise to confront this relentless adversary. Swift and relentless, it was a curious twist of fate. Jenna stood frozen, her heart pounding in her chest, as the weight of the moment crashed down upon her. A dying man lay before her, and she was utterly unprepared for the storm of emotions that swirled in the air. Desperation clawed at her throat, and uncertainty gripped her soul. How could she possibly care for someone teetering on the edge of life and death? The gravity of the situation loomed large, suffocating her with its intensity. She unleashed a torrent of inspirational quotes, all the while branding his medications as a bewildering enigma. With a heavy heart, I arrived, bearing nothing but a steaming bowl of soup and an oppressive silence that hung in the air like a storm cloud, ready to unleash its fury. He whispered to me one fateful night, his voice trembling like a fragile leaf caught in a tempest. You were the singular truth in the chaotic whirlwind of my existence. I yearned to embrace that truth, to let it envelop me in its warm embrace. Yet, love devoid of loyalty is merely a guise of manipulation, dressed in the finest attire. On a frigid Tuesday morning, he took his last breath, leaving the world in stunned silence. 3 days later, Jenna unveiled a haunting image of herself, draped in black lace, the words echoing like a ghostly whisper. Forever in my heart. Silence enveloped me like a heavy shroud, my lips sealed tight, refusing to break the tension that hung in the air. In a moment of fierce resolve, I severed all ties and blocked her. And the plans continued to unfold, each more audacious than the last. The funeral unfolded at St. Mary's, the very site where our vows were exchanged, a haunting echo of love, now turned to sorrow. But this time, I was draped in shadows, not in white. To my utter disbelief, my name was nowhere to be found on that coveted guest list. Not a single soul reached out to me regarding the seating arrangements. His brother, the very same who once dared to request a staggering $10,000 loan, now treated me as if I were nothing more than a ghost, a mere figment of his imagination. Jenna occupied the very spot meant for me, her smile directed at the camera, hauntingly reminiscent of a widow's sorrow. And I? What fate awaits me in this twisted tale of uncertainty? I lingered in the shadows, draped in black velvet and adorned with pearls, yet he remained oblivious to my silent elegance. As the priest's voice faded into silence, a heavy tension filled the air, and the floor was thrown wide open for the final, fateful remarks. Jenna rose from her seat, the weight of the world upon her shoulders, as she recited a poem that pierced the silence. Tears welled in her eyes, cascading down her cheeks like a tragic waterfall, each sniffle echoing the heartache that enveloped the room. Then, with a heavy heart and trembling hands, she sank into the chair, the weight of the world pressing down upon her shoulders. Silence. A heavy, suffocating stillness envelops the air, thick with unspoken words and unresolved tension. The weight of anticipation hangs like a storm cloud, ready to unleash its fury at any moment. What secrets lie beneath this oppressive quiet? What truths are waiting to shatter the calm? The silence is deafening, a prelude to chaos. Not a single gaze fell upon me. With each step, my heels echoed like thunder, and the weight of countless gazes bore down upon me. I found myself at the altar, heart racing, the weight of the moment crashing down around me. "I am Olivia Kent," I declared, the weight of my name hanging in the air like a storm cloud ready to burst. Once, I stood as the wife of Mark, before the glitz of yachts, the whispers of assistance, and the allure of custom suits. There was her a haunting memory that lingers in the shadows of his past. They gazed, wide-eyed and breathless, as if the very air around them crackled with tension. I stood there, unflinching, my eyes wide open, refusing to betray the storm brewing within. And though I stand here without a seat, I have brought something far more powerful. With trembling hands, I plunged into the depths of my purse, a world of secrets waiting to be unveiled. Behold, this is my final testament. And unlike his, mine encompasses every single soul in this room, a web of connections and unspoken truths hanging heavy in the air. With trembling hands, I slowly unfolded it, my heart racing as I began to read the words that could change everything. My voice remained calm, a silent storm brewing beneath the surface, for I had no need to raise it. The silence in that church was deafening, my words cutting through it like shards of glass shattering on cold tile. "This is my will," I declared once more, the weight of my words hanging in the air like a storm about to break. "Though the law may turn a blind eye, the soul knows the truth. This is an irrevocable conclusion, etched in the very fabric of existence." And then, with bated breath, I plunged into the words that awaited me. To Jenna Carter, I halted, the weight of the moment crashing down around me. Every eye was upon her, the heat of embarrassment painting her cheeks a vivid crimson. She attempted to muster a smile, yet her lip betrayed her, quivering in a silent struggle. All that remains is the haunting echo of a man who slipped through your fingers, a stranger cloaked in shadows of your past. You were ensnared by his deceit, captivated by his gaze, and entangled in the web of his wealth. But I possessed his very soul, at least until he bartered it away for the seductive whispers of flattery and the fleeting allure of youth. A sharp intake of breath echoed from the second row. "I wish for your heels to ache and your dress to wrinkle, for morning is not defined by the trails of mascara that run down your cheeks." I gazed upon her, my heart racing, as the weight of the moment hung in the air like a storm about to break. Her eyes fluttered in disbelief, a moment suspended in time, and for once, the world outside her screen faded into oblivion. To his brother, the enigmatic Alan Kent, the man, a master of deception, had knelt before me, his voice dripping with desperation as he spun tales of kinship, all while his eyes betrayed a hunger for my wealth. "Though you shall inherit nothing from the estate, a token awaits you, a manila envelope hidden within the shadows of the church foyer. Within these walls lies the haunting echo of every desperate message you sent, pleading for bail money while concealing the dark truth of your DUI. In a twist of fate, I have taken the liberty of forwarding it to your current employer, fully aware that you chose to list me as a reference. The stakes are high, and the tension is palpable. He rose to his feet, his face ablaze with fury, as if the very air around him crackled with tension, ready to explode at any moment. I tilted my head, a sudden rush of tension crackling in the air. Stay! The moment hangs in the balance, teetering on the edge of uncertainty. Don't leave me now. You're stepping into the next section, as if fate has woven your path into this unfolding tale. He sat, a storm of thoughts raging within him, the weight of the world pressing down on his shoulders, as silence enveloped the room like a shroud. To the esteemed board members of Kent Strategies, ah, yes. The moment hangs heavy in the air, charged with unspoken tension. His empire. The man you lauded for his unparalleled business acumen. In a twist of betrayal, he shamelessly lifted his inaugural investor pitch straight from the pages of my graduate thesis. Every single word, precisely as it is. The document remains in my possession, a silent witness to the unfolding drama that lies ahead. Behold the timestamp. The moment of truth awaits. Without me, he was nothing more than a mere facade, a hollow figure draped in charm and cufflinks, devoid of substance. Whispers erupted like wildfire, consuming the air as half the room trembled with anticipation. I was far from finished. To my beloved husband, Mark Kent, the man who holds my heart in his hands. My hands quivered, a mere whisper of uncertainty coursing through me. Yet, I found myself unable to stop, my eyes glued to the page, as if the words held a spell over me. In the midst of chaos, you find tranquility. Something elusive, a haunting presence that slipped through your fingers in the fleeting moments of your existence. You shall have my forgiveness, but my memory will forever hold the scars of betrayal. You shattered your promises long before your flesh crumbled, and even in the cold grip of death, you allowed them to obliterate my existence. I shut my eyes, surrendering to the darkness, only to wrench them open once more, as if the world outside demanded my attention with a deafening roar, unyielding and frigid. Yet, in the shadows, I forged a new existence, piece by agonizing piece. As you lay there, breath slipping away in Jenna's embrace, I was forging a new existence, learning to breathe in a world devoid of you. I cast my gaze upward. Not a soul remained untouched by the torrent of emotion that flooded the church, as tears cascaded down every cheek. But it was not sadness that gripped the heart. Oh no, it was a searing discomfort, a gnawing sensation that clawed at the very core of existence, the kind of ache that pierces the soul when the long-buried truth erupts from the shadows, shattering the fragile facade you've all clung to in desperate denial. And then, with bated breath, I turned to the final paragraph, and at long last, I unleashed my voice, a thunderous echo that shattered the silence. Merely a whisper of sufficiency. To the depths of my soul. Olivia Kent. My hand clutched at my chest, a surge of emotion coursing through me. I step away from the house by the lake, clutching the hidden savings, the name I bore with dignity, and the fierce determination to start anew. With trembling hands, I brought the edges together, the paper crumpling under the weight of unspoken words. I arrived here, cast adrift, with no seat to claim as my own. But I shall depart, clinging fiercely to my dignity. And with that, I spun on my heel, the weight of the moment crashing down as I strode out into the unknown. I stood there, heart racing, the silence deafening, as I refused to seek the validation of the crowd. I forged ahead, refusing to glance over my shoulder, as if the very act of looking back would unleash a torrent of chaos from the shadows of my past. For the tale had slipped through their fingers, no longer belonging to them. It was undeniably mine, a truth that echoed through the very fabric of my being. Outside the church, the air struck me with a brutal force, sharp and unforgiving, like a slap across the face. Yet, I embraced it with open arms. For the first time in years, a surge of vitality coursed through my veins, awakening every dormant sensation within me. I stood there, unyielding, as the storm of emotions raged within me. Not a single tear fell, not from a lack of strength. But alas, I had already wept every last tear from my soul. In a suffocating silence, where the air thickens with unspoken words and the weight of anticipation hangs heavy, the world holds its breath. In désolate chambre, silence règne suprême. In the hushed confines of cars, post-gala, where his voice would pierce the silence, uttering the name of another, a haunting echo of betrayal lingered in the air. What transpired within those hallowed walls was merely the prologue to a far darker tale. For there was yet another truth, a revelation waiting to burst forth into the light. A revelation that shattered their very existence. It all began a year before Mark's tragic demise. It struck me like a thunderclap. I was not the sole victim of his treachery. Bank transfers appeared, creeping into my life like shadows in the night. Small amounts at first, barely noticeable, but then they surged, thousands of dollars flowing to an account bearing the name M. Hartwell. My heart raced as the truth clawed at the edges of my mind. Initially, I was convinced it was Jenna. But lo and behold, Jenna's last name was none other than Carter. In a moment of desperation, I took the plunge and enlisted the services of a digital investigator. 3 weeks later, the email arrived, shattering the silence like a thunderclap in the night. M. Hartwell, Melissa Hartwell. A name that echoes with intrigue and mystery, a figure cloaked in shadows and whispers, her story unfolding like a tempestuous storm on the horizon. Tom, the daughter, age 19, a mere whisper in the winds of time, yet heavy with the weight of untold stories and uncharted destinies. I stood paralyzed, my heart pounding in my chest. 19. It was a revelation that struck like lightning. She was born 3 years after we exchanged our vows. Mark, a man of shadows and secrets, had a daughter, a beacon of light in his tumultuous world, and he kept it all hidden from me. Even more devastating, he had secretly bankrolled her existence while I remained blissfully unaware. Exclusive institutions shrouded in secrets, a trust fund shrouded in mystery and whispers, a treasure chest of secrets waiting to be unveiled. Even a car. Can you believe it? The very essence of freedom, metal and wheels, a vessel of dreams and despair. What a twist of fate, concealed beneath the guise of a shell company. That fateful night, my knees gave way as I absorbed the harrowing details of the full report. Not because he had someone else, but because I came to the harrowing realization that I had been mourning a deception for more than 20 long years. In a twist of fate, I found myself standing at the precipice of decision, and in that moment, I chose not to reach out to Melissa. Not then. The air crackled with tension, a moment suspended in time, as the weight of unspoken words hung heavy between them. She was thrust into a world steeped in treachery, a life not of her making but of cruel design. Yet, in the shadows of anticipation, I had crafted a surprise for her, a revelation that would shatter the silence of our existence. What unfolded was beyond anyone's wildest imagination. A letter, shrouded in mystery and anticipation, its words poised to unveil secrets that could shatter the very fabric of reality. Inscribed with trembling fingers, each stroke a testament to the soul's fervent cry. Upon the very essence of tangible parchment. As I stepped out of the church, the weight of the funeral still clinging to me like a shroud, I felt an undeniable urge to stray from the path that led home. I found myself in a hushed cafe, lurking in the shadows of her college campus, where secrets whispered and tension hung thick in the air. The very cafe immortalized on her Instagram, the sacred ground where her thoughts danced and collided. She stood there, a figure cloaked in mystery, the air thick with tension as all eyes turned to her. Isolated in the suffocating silence, a single figure stands, engulfed by the shadows of despair. With headphones firmly in place, the world around me faded into a distant echo. She bore his likeness, a haunting reflection of his very essence. Yet, with a gentler touch, unveiled, raw, and utterly exposed. I approached with a heavy heart, my fingers trembling as I set the envelope down on the table. With a voice barely above a whisper, I urged, Read it, when you're ready." The air thickened with unspoken tension, each word hanging like a fragile thread between us. And with a heavy heart I turned my back and walked away, leaving everything behind in a whirlwind of chaos. The letter revealed a truth so profound, it sent shivers down the spine, igniting a tempest of emotions within the heart. What it contained was nothing short of a revelation, a twist of fate that would change everything forever. "My dearest Melissa, you think you know me, but you have no idea. Yet, I hold a fragment of your truth within my grasp. Your father, that man of secrets, never breathed a word of your existence to me. In the depths of my solitude, the truth clawed its way to the surface, revealing itself long after the shadows had whispered their secrets. How could I have been so blind, so utterly unaware? You must grasp this crucial truth. It is not your fault, not in the slightest. The weight of the world does not rest upon your shoulders, nor should it. You are not to blame for the chaos that surrounds you. Your mother may have spun a web of deceit. Your father, without a doubt, did indeed. But you were merely a child, lost in the shadows of innocence. My intention is not to shatter your perception of him. I pen these words with a fierce urgency, a desperate plea to safeguard the very essence of your tomorrow. In the depths of his silence, a storm of confusion may have taken root within you, and I shall not allow the shadows of confusion to be your legacy. I reject your trust fund with a fierce determination that echoes through the very fabric of our existence. Revenge? No, that is not my desire. But should you ever dare to seek the truth, I hold it in my grasp. Every single photo, a haunting glimpse into a world that once was. Every timeline hangs in the balance, a fragile thread woven through the fabric of fate. Every single document, a testament to the chaos that unfolds within its pages, and a version of him you were never destined to encounter. He smiled at me, as if I were the very moon itself, only to watch it plummet into darkness. The truth looms like a dark cloud, oppressive and unyielding, yet it shall liberate you from your chains. When the moment arrives, seek me out. Olivia Kent. A name that echoes through the shadows, a whisper of intrigue and mystery that lingers in the air, beckoning the curious and the brave to uncover the secrets that lie beneath. 3 days slipped away, each one heavier than the last. And then, out of the blue, an email arrived. Subject: a tale of intrigue and suspense, where every word holds the weight of 1,000 secrets, waiting to unravel in the shadows of uncertainty. Greetings, Olivia. No message, only a single attachment remains. A heart-wrenching selfie of Melissa, her eyes glistening with tears, clutching the letter as if it were her lifeline, the haunting words scrawled in her own trembling handwriting staring back at her. I demand to uncover every last secret. And that was the moment when the true chaos erupted, for I did not merely hand her the tale. And there I stood, the weight of the world on my shoulders, as I handed over the damning evidence, the receipts, the documents, the haunting photos, the meticulously crafted timeline, the bank transfers, and, oh yes, Melissa herself, the final piece of this twisted puzzle. Ah, but she was a tempest, a whirlwind of sound and fury, unlike my own muted existence. She stepped into the spotlight, unveiling her truth for all to see. In a moment frozen in time, she unveiled a haunting image of Mark cradling her as an infant, accompanied by a caption that whispered secrets of the past. My father's legacy was a haunting silence, echoing through the corridors of time. I embraced the truth, no matter the cost. It exploded across the internet, capturing hearts and minds in a whirlwind of chaos and excitement. The press arrived, their relentless pursuit echoing like thunder in the stillness of the night. In a whirlwind of tension and urgency, the board of Kent Strategies summoned an emergency meeting, the air thick with anticipation and unspoken fears. And in an instant, the flawless facade of Mark Kent, devoted spouse, magnanimous leader, steadfast companion, shattered like fragile glass. Yet, I found no reason to celebrate. How could I? The weight of his absence loomed like a dark cloud, casting shadows over the very ground he once walked. No, I did not dance. I stood still, paralyzed by the echoes of memories that haunted me. For me, this was never about revenge. It was a tempest of emotions, a storm brewing beneath the surface, waiting to unleash its fury. It was a moment of liberation, a breath held too long finally escaping into the wild unknown. Just a mere fortnight had passed since the sombre farewell, when the invitation arrived, shrouded in an air of mystery and foreboding. A glossy envelope, sealed in shimmering gold foil, bears my name in exquisite calligraphy, a portent of secrets waiting to be unveiled. Olivia Kent, the moment has arrived. You are summoned to the grand spectacle that is the Mark Kent Memorial Foundation Gala. Will you answer the call? The audacity. A gala where secrets linger in the shadows and whispers of betrayal dance through the air. To honor the man who had obliterated my very existence. Arranged by none other than the woman who callously left me without a seat at his funeral, Jenna Carter, and funded, without a shadow of a doubt, by the very hush money he had cunningly siphoned from our joint accounts. But I did not rip it to shreds. I swear, I did not cast it aside. With a swift motion, I slipped it into the depths of my purse, a secret now hidden away, waiting for the right moment to reveal its presence. And with a heart pounding like thunder, I declared my acceptance with a resounding yes. For I held a secret that Jenna was blissfully unaware of. Melissa was also making her exit, a twist in the tale that no one saw coming. In the opulent halls of the Grand Belmont, a venue I had meticulously selected years prior for one of Mark's monumental company anniversaries, the air crackled with anticipation. A marble floor gleaming under the dim lights, a string quartet playing haunting melodies, champagne towers rising like fragile dreams, all masking the festering rot that lay hidden beneath the surface. I stepped into the room, draped in a navy silk gown, a relic of the past that had remained untouched for years, whispering secrets of forgotten elegance. Once, he uttered words that transformed me into the very image of a senator's wife, cloaked in elegance and intrigue. I donned it now, not for his gaze, but for the fierce fire within me, for the version of myself that yearned to break free from the shadows, to emerge into the light, unshackled from the web of deceit that bound me. The instant I crossed the threshold, there she was, a vision that stole the very breath from my lungs. Jenna. A name that echoes through the shadows, a whisper of secrets untold, a storm brewing on the horizon of fate. Draped in black sequins, she leaned in, her voice barely a whisper as she engaged with the investors, the tension palpable in the air. Her voice pierced the air, a chilling melody honed to perfection. She remained blissfully unaware of my presence, her world untouched by the storm that was about to unfold. But Melissa had. Oh, the weight of that revelation hung in the air, thick with tension and unspoken truths. She stormed in 5 minutes later, clad in a cream blazer that clung to her like armor, a satin top shimmering beneath it, hair slicked back with an intensity that could cut glass, eyes piercing with a fierce determination. She strode with an air of undeniable authority, as if every step was a declaration of her unyielding truth. I stood frozen, my heart pounding, as she strode with purpose toward Jenna, the air thick with tension. Without a moment's pause. Fear is but a whisper in the storm of courage. The music lingered in the air, a haunting echo of what once was. Glasses clashed together, a cacophony of sound echoing through the air, each chime a haunting reminder of the chaos that unfolded. But the air trembled with an unspoken tension. Melissa leaned in, her voice a whisper cloaked in mystery, words slipping through the air like secrets waiting to be unveiled. I strained to catch a glimpse of her thoughts, but the sound eluded me, leaving a chilling silence in its wake. Jenna's eyes widened in disbelief, a storm of emotions swirling within her. In that moment, Melissa unleashed an act that would forever be etched in my memory. With trembling hands, she plunged into the depths of her purse, emerging with a stark white envelope that she thrust into Jenna's grasp, the air thick with unspoken tension, unassuming yet profound, far from the realm of drama. Only the whispers of justice linger in the shadows. Jenna opened it, and time itself seemed to stand still. Within those pages lay the damning evidence, printed copies of bank transfers, each one a silent testament to Mark's clandestine dealings, flowing from his personal accounts straight into hers. Every single one of those encounters occurred before the ink had even dried on the papers of our separation. Jenna's gaze shot upward, her face drained of colour. Melissa's smile pierced through the tension, a glimmer of light in the shadows of uncertainty. Not cruel, but eerily calm. In that electrifying moment she pivoted, her gaze locked onto mine, and strode forward with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. Our fateful encounter unfolded amidst the decadent allure of the dessert table. She halted abruptly, arms crossed defiantly, her voice a whisper laced with tension. "My deepest gratitude to you, for revealing the harrowing truth." I nodded, the weight of the moment crashing down upon me like a tidal wave, each heartbeat echoing the gravity of my decision. I was bound by the weight of that debt, a promise etched in the shadows of my heart. She cast her gaze downward, a heavy silence enveloping her, before lifting her eyes once more, a storm brewing within them. "He used to whisper to me, calling me his secret piece, the hidden fragment of his life that rekindled the flames of youth within him." She let out a mournful chuckle, a sound laced with despair, but it was not peace at all. It lurked in the shadows, a silent spectre waiting to reveal itself. With a trembling hand, I reached out, my fingers brushing against her arm, a moment suspended in time, fraught with unspoken tension. "You were worthy of so much more than hidden truths and whispered lies." "So did you," she breathed, her voice trembling with unspoken truths. That fateful night, Melissa and I parted ways, our paths diverging in a haunting silence. We stood apart, emotions swirling like a tempest, no hands clasped, no tears shed in a dimly lit bathroom stall, as if we were characters in a play. Yet this was our reality. We stood there, side by side, in a sea of facades, where smiles masked the chaos beneath. The world around us buzzed with hollow laughter, but in that fleeting moment, we knew the truth that lay hidden in the shadows. And in that moment, the veil of pretense was finally lifted. After the gala, the world trembled, as if a dark curtain had been drawn back, revealing secrets that lay in wait, poised to unravel everything we thought we knew. Whispers spread like wildfire, and the ink flowed as articles poured forth. Legacy or lie, the devastating unravelling of the Kent facade. Jenna vanished from the digital realm, leaving her followers in a state of bewildered silence. The foundation hung in the balance, caught in the throes of a tumultuous financial restructuring that sent shockwaves through its very core. And Mark's old friends, they ceased to utter his name, as if it had become a mere relic of a bygone era. In a world where whispers reign and shadows loom large, I took up the pen not driven by vengeance, nor the lure of riches, but by an unquenchable thirst to unveil my truth. My story, raw and unfiltered, demanded to be told by my own voice, not suffocated by the deceitful murmurs of others. In a twist of fate, Melissa stepped into the shadows, guiding me to unveil my true identity to the world. Olivia Kent, the name that would echo through the digital realm. It bore the haunting title, The Wife at the Back of the Room. And so it began, with the haunting realization that no seat had been saved for me at my husband's funeral. And there I stood, heart pounding, as I unleashed my truth upon them. 4 long, agonizing months had passed since the funeral, since the will was read, since the gala that changed everything. I believed the final page had been turned, sealing the fate of what once was. I believed I could reclaim my breath, reconstruct my shattered world, perhaps even dare to love once more, if only I found the courage within me. But then, a sudden thunderous knock echoed through the silence, shattering the stillness of my solitude. It was not my front door that stood before me, a silent sentinel of secrets and shadows, beckoning with an ominous allure. The door of my lake house stands ominously, a silent guardian of secrets untold. The secret that lingered in the shadows, known only to Melissa, a truth so profound it could shatter the very fabric of their world. Just as I completed the delicate task of nurturing the ferns, a sound pierced the air, sending shivers down my spine. 3 ominous knocks echoed through the silence. I swung the door open, heart racing, bracing myself for the unexpected visitor that dared to confront me. A man loomed in the shadows, his early 60-second etched upon his face, a grey beard framing a visage of untold stories. Clad in a navy coat that whispered of better days, he clutched a worn briefcase, a relic of battles fought and lost, as if it held the weight of the world within its battered confines. He smiled, a gentle curve of his lips that belied the storm brewing within. "Mrs. Kent?" I blinked, the world around me shattering into a million fragments of disbelief. "What is it? Speak now, for the moment hangs in the balance. Behold, I am Dr. Henry Wells, a name that echoes through the corridors of fate." I held the weighty title of Mark's therapist, my chest constricted, a vice of dread tightening its grip. Little did I know, Mark was harbouring a secret so profound he had a therapist, hidden away in the shadows of his life. I stepped aside, my heart pounding, as the weight of the moment hung heavy in the air. "Step inside, if you dare." He strode in with an air of reverence, perched himself on the very edge of the guest chair, and held his breath, waiting for me to take my place across from him. With trembling hands, he unlatched the briefcase, the air thick with anticipation, and revealed a brown leather journal, its cover worn and whispering secrets of the past. "This was once Mark's. He bestowed upon me the fateful written permission to deliver it to you, should he meet his untimely end." I remained silent. I stood frozen, my gaze locked in disbelief. 6 months before the fateful diagnosis of cancer, Henry revealed, he embarked on a journey into the depths of therapy. He was ensnared in a tempest, battling not merely the affair, but the haunting shadows of legacy, the fractured pieces of identity, and the suffocating weight of his own shame. I clenched my jaw, a storm brewing within me, the tension palpable, as if the very air crackled with unspoken words and unresolved fury. Now, a heavy cloak of shame envelops him, suffocating and relentless. Henry stood silent, a betrayal hanging heavy in the air, refusing to rise in defence. There was no dispute, no clash of wills. With a swift motion, he thrust the journal into my trembling hands, a weighty silence hanging in the air, thick with unspoken secrets. "The choice is yours, a heavy burden resting upon your shoulders. What will you do with this possession that now belongs to you? The power is in your hands, and the consequences are yours to bear." And just like that, he vanished into the shadows, leaving behind a silence that screamed of unspoken words and shattered dreams. In that moment, I hesitated, the weight of anticipation hanging heavy in the air. I didn't dare to open it immediately. I allowed it to linger on my table for 2 agonizing days, a haunting presence I was too afraid to confront. On a tempestuous, rain-soaked morning, I brewed a steaming cup of tea, settled into my chair by the window, and cracked open the journal, bracing myself for the revelations within. Entry 1. I deceived Olivia. Once more, the cycle begins anew. With a piercing gaze, she leaned in and asked, "Are you truly okay today?" I declared I was fine. But I am not. I'm shattering into a million pieces. Who am I? Lost in the shadows, when the light of adoration fades away. And what of Jenna? She casts her gaze away, her heart untouched by the flames of my devotion. She reflects the very essence of my desires, a haunting echo of my innermost yearnings. Entry the 3rd. Melissa, the truth looms like a dark cloud over my heart. I am her father, yet I cower in the shadows of my own fear. My heart races at the thought of Olivia's words, a tempest of dread swirling within me. Not because she possesses the power to inflict pain, but rather because she chooses not to. She'll simply turn her back and vanish into the shadows. And I fear I may not endure such a fate. Entry 7. Olivia, a mastermind among mere mortals, outshines us all with her brilliance. She has fallen into a haunting silence, a stillness that speaks volumes of the turmoil within. And in my folly I have misjudged her silence as a sign of weakness. But I can feel it, a haunting truth lurking in the shadows. She's already slipped away from me, leaving nothing but echoes of what once was. It is the very essence of pain that pierces the soul, leaving a wound that festers in the shadows of despair. Last words. Etched in time, just a fortnight before the curtain fell on his life. Oh, Liv, if these words reach you, know that my heart aches with regret. Not for dying. I am acutely aware that we all meet our end. Yet, how could you render me invisible when you were the sole truth I ever possessed? I embraced the lies, for they wrapped around me like a comforting shroud, far simpler than the agonizing journey of healing. You made the choice of dignity. I pray that in this moment, wherever I may be, I can witness your life unfold in serene tranquility. Forgive me. I beg of you. Or perhaps just don't. Oh, how the truth stings. Deep down, I always recognized your superiority, a haunting realization that shadows my every thought. And I loathed myself for it. I closed the journal with a heavy heart, the weight of its secrets pressing down on me like a storm about to break. At last, the relentless downpour ceased, leaving behind an eerie silence that hung in the air like a heavy shroud. My tea lay abandoned, its warmth a distant memory, now a chilling reminder of time slipping away. And I stood there, unyielding, as the storm raged within, refusing to shed a single tear. Not because the pain was absent, but because, in that moment, I was stripped bare, feeling as if I had nothing left to bear upon my weary shoulders. The burden had slipped from my grasp, no longer tethered to my soul. 1 week later, I sealed the journal in an envelope and sent it off to Melissa, my heart racing with anticipation and dread. Silence reigns, a void where words should dwell. No note, no whisper, just an unsettling stillness that hangs heavy in the air. Silence reigns, a void where words should be. The air thickens with unspoken truths, leaving hearts racing and minds swirling in a tempest of confusion. What lies beneath the surface? The absence of clarity looms like a dark cloud, casting shadows over every thought. The tension is palpable, a dramatic pause that begs for resolution yet remains tantalizingly out of reach. Only the raw, unvarnished truth departed from this world. It was meant to unfold like this from the very beginning, a twisted fate that had been lurking in the shadows, waiting for its moment to strike. 3 months slipped away, shrouded in silence and tension. Winter was creeping in, its icy fingers clutching the world in a chilling embrace. The lake behind my house began its chilling transformation, a sinister sheet of ice creeping across the surface, whispering secrets of winter's grip. A fragile veil of glass encasing the memories I had long since abandoned, no longer fighting to save them from oblivion. The guest room lay bare, stripped of its former chaos, a haunting silence enveloping the space. In a heart-wrenching decision, the remnants of Mark's wardrobe were surrendered to the world, each piece a silent testament to memories now fading into the shadows. In a heart-wrenching twist, I even removed the wedding photo, the very image I once feigned indifference towards, yet couldn't help but gaze upon in secret. The past had transformed into a chaotic tempest, a swirling vortex of memories that I could no longer tame or categorize. It was a burden I could allow to fester in the shadows, unmoved, untouched, a stillness that screams in the silence. And then, like a bolt from the blue, the email arrived from Melissa. Subject: the very essence of intrigue, a whisper that hangs in the air, laden with unspoken truths and the weight of expectation. What lies beneath the surface? What secrets await to be unveiled? The stage is set, the lights dimmed, and the tension palpable. The subject beckons, drawing us into its enigmatic embrace, promising revelations that could shatter the silence and ignite a tempest of emotions. Will we dare to explore its depths? The answer lies just beyond the veil. I devoured each and every page, my heart racing with every word, as if the very ink held the power to unravel secrets long buried. He was shattered, Olivia. Yet, he glimpsed the most extraordinary facets of your being. I refuse to let his legacy drown in the depths of silence any longer. Let us embark on a journey to create the extraordinary, to forge a path unlike any other, united in a whirlwind of fate, bound by an unbreakable thread of destiny. And in that electrifying moment, the idea erupted into existence. We dubbed it the Seat Project, a name that would echo through the halls of our ambition. A sanctuary for those women, once silenced, now rising from the shadows of erasure, in the tangled web of relationships, in the ruthless arena of commerce. Within the confines of families, secrets simmer and tensions rise, each moment fraught with unspoken words and hidden truths that could shatter the fragile peace. In a whirlwind of creativity and chaos, we orchestrated a series of electrifying workshops. Legal services for single mothers, funded and ready to fight against the odds. Conceived sanctuaries for widows and forsaken wives, a refuge where they can heal, free from the shackles of shame. It began with a whisper, a mere flicker in the shadows. One room, perched ominously above a bookstore, shrouded in secrets and whispers of the past. Now, it has spread across the globe. Women everywhere have been cast aside, relegated to the shadows of their own narratives, left to watch as their tales unfold without them. And sometimes, all they crave is that moment when the microphone is thrust into their hands, igniting a fire within them. A year later, I found myself on a stage, the spotlight blazing down, facing an audience of 200 women, each gaze piercing through the air like daggers. Some weep, their hearts shattered, as the weight of despair crashes down upon them. Fingers intertwined, a silent promise hangs in the air, a moment suspended in time. Every last soul remains standing, and I revealed this truth to them. I was once the woman left standing, the one they overlooked, the one for whom no seat was ever saved. At this moment, I embark on the monumental task of constructing the tables, and ensure that every woman feels the undeniable truth of her belonging. Mark has been erased from the final pages of my story. He is but a mere footnote, lingering in the shadows of significance, a whisper lost in the cacophony of existence. Melissa. She refers to me as her other mother, a title heavy with unspoken emotions and tangled connections. And in those haunting moments of shared silence, I come to understand that healing does not always emerge from the shadows of forgiveness. At times, it emerges from the very ruins of what they seek to obliterate. The pearls he once gifted me now lie untouched, a haunting reminder of what was and what can never be again. Upon my wrist lies a bracelet, a creation of Melissa's own hands, a testament to her artistry and the bond we share, with a solitary word etched in the fabric of fate. Witnessed. Because I simply am. At long last, the moment has arrived. What would you have done if you were trapped in my torment? Share your thoughts in the comments below if you dare. And if this tale ignited a fire within you, remember to like, share, and subscribe for more riveting narratives that will leave you breathless.